ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams and we're back once again with another 24/7 news report. We start this news report as always with our headline news, and there's quite a lot to break down, especially with news coming out last night. So we start the news with, from the Liverpool Echo, that Rafa Benitez is said to be the front runner for the Everton manager's job, although other managers have been discussed on the board. Those other managers are Christophe Galtier, Nuno Espirito Santo and Graham Potter. They've all been discussed, but Rafa Benitez is leading the charge. We've got more Rafa Benitez news as follows, coming from Paul Joyce. He says Rafa Benitez remains in pole position to become the new Everton manager after further talks with the Everton hierarchy. Fahd Moshiri and his associates continued to see Benitez as the man to take the club forward despite supporter backlash. We also have from Paul Joyce that no formal offer has been made to Benitez, but the former Liverpool manager has now had 4 rounds of talks with Everton. The latest round of negotiations took place after the fans' backlash, which underlines how keen Everton are for him. Dominic King's also come out last night and said that Everton had held further talks with Rafa Benitez to get closer to making him the new manager. Dominic King also added on Twitter, Benitez has become the leading candidate after another round of discussions with Fahd Moshiri. Moshiri is aware of about the feeling about Benitez from the Everton fans, but proceeding regardless. Everton have spoken to a number of managers, including Nuno, Graham Potter, and Roberto Martinez is still to be a favourite among the board. That's come from Dominic King. The Mirror were also reporting about Benitez last night. They said that secret talks were held over the weekend with Benitez's representatives to sort out the finer details, and that looks set to be confirmed in the next couple of days. Backlash from the fans dampened the enthusiasm from Fahd Moshiri and his backers over the Benitez appointment. Talks did not completely stall, but the Benitez camp remained confident that Everton will confirm the contract after several positive meetings. And Fahd Moshiri was said to be nervous about the reaction from Everton fans, but Moshiri has allies like Alisher Usmanov, who has given him confidence to talk with Benitez. That's come from the Mirror. So we'll break down some of that news because it's Benitez heavy. I think realistically, I think it now looks like Rafa Benitez is probably going to be our manager if the papers... I mean, take everything with a pinch of salt because this, according to the papers, was going to be announced this week, and 2 weeks ago it was going to be Nuno. But I mean, there's no smoke without fire, and Rafa Benitez has got a lot of smoke around him now. I mean, it's not just the Liverpool... I'm not a fan of it. I really despise it. It's not just the Liverpool links. It's the unrest it's causing in the fan base. It's the fact that I've never, ever in my lifetime seen a manager who will be booed before his team have even played at Goodison. I know a lot of you are favourites. Well, not a lot of you don't want him. But there is a small minority who say he's won stuff, they'd be happy. I mean, he did in 2005. His Italian Cup win was in 2014. I think the game's left him. It happens. It happens to players. It happens to managers. The game can leave you by because it's so, developed now. And Simon Jordan on TalkSport, I think, hit a nail on the head. We need somebody who will build. Benitez, I think he's coming for one last payday. He did that in China and it didn't go well. And I think he's coming to us for one of his last paydays. And I think we're silly enough to give it him, which is really annoying because we don't want to be this club where managers go for the last payday. I don't blame Benitez for going for it. We're a very attractive club. We offer quite a lot. We offer a lot of money to him personally and for him to spend. I am disappointed in the board. I thought the fans' voices were going to be taken on board a lot more. Usmanov, I don't know how entirely he links in, apart from the fact that he's obviously, has the naming rights for Finch Farm, and he's going to have the naming rights for Bramley Moor. But obviously he's backing this as well. And the fact that Fahd Moshiri knows the fans really despise this and is still going ahead. I don't know. That's very disappointing in my eyes. I think I thought better of him than that. I thought he would take more on board. Alan Myers made a great point though that fans don't influence appointments. They normally tend to influence sackings. That he said on Twitter, and that is a great point. I've never known fans to, but I've seen fans out managers. I remember towards the end of Silver's days when there were people shouting over to Kenwright going, "He's got to go, Bill," and it was only a matter of days before he was sacked. Now that is a great point, and if Benitez, say now, Danny Ings slots one in at Goodison, first game of the season, the boos are 10 times. the fans will want him out as soon as he's lost a game. Even before then, but as soon as he starts to go on a bad run, out. That's what will happen. And this is the bit I really don't get. There's no forward thinking for me because he's up against the wall so badly. He'd have to be a miracle worker to win the fans round. But, Farhad Majuri, it is money at the end of the day, and he's going to do what he wants to do with it. I don't. I think it's very poor business. I know some people are saying that they're maybe thinking stable hands. I mean, I know stabler hands that would be better, and we're not, giving it to a manager who's going to build something doesn't mean we're not going to, we're not going to get relegated from the Premier League if we gave it to Graham Potter. All right, I don't think we'd finish in the top 10, but I don't think we finish there with Benitez, to be completely honest with you. I think Benitez I think we're going to slump a bit and we'll finish probably like 13th, 14th with him. But this is just my opinion. You might disagree and you'll let me know in the comments like you always do. We also have news from the Daily Mail that Lucien Favre has held positive talks with Palace and is close to accepting the role as manager. Former Dortmund manager has also been proposed the Everton move, but is leaning towards Selhurst Park. That's come from the Daily Mail. I mean, this comes down to, I think we've just not made enough of a bid for him. Same with Gaultier, apparently the same problem. I think the board are fully in camp Benitez, so they're just not entertaining an awful lot of the other people, which could leave us in a bit of a situation if they listen to the fans and they don't go with Benitez, because they've not entertained other managers, and managers like to be entertained. And Lucien Favre must see us as a more attractive than Crystal Palace. No offence to Palace. Just because a lot of their players are out of contract. They're one of the oldest squads in the Premier League. They need a real rebuild, and we would have been less work, less of a rebuild. We also have some transfer news. We have that Arsenal are interested in Dominic Calvert-Lewin as they look to strengthen their attack, but they need to sell players. That's come from the Telegraph. I can't see Dominic Calvert-Lewin going, in all honesty. I think he's comfortable at Everton. He said that he wants to win stuff with Everton, and he intends on staying, and I think he will stay. We also did some polls on the Toffee Blues. I'll read some of them out for you. They're about the manager. We asked 4,707 of you who have voted Rafa Benitez to Everton. An astonishing not astonishing, it's not even surprising. 82% said no, 18% said yes. These are all still open, by the way. You've got 17 hours, so go follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter and go vote on these if you want your voice heard. I'm not shocked by that one. I hope the board sees this. What 82%, and this is just from Twitter. So the wider Everton fans, some of the older people who aren't on Twitter, some of the older Blues, they're going to be. I imagine a lot of them are going to be quite angry about it, and they don't have Twitter. Some of them, a lot of people at Goodison, that'll be their first time to publicly, express themselves. And after 18 months of not being allowed in, if they're not a fan of Rafa Benitez and he's the manager when they come back in after, it's going to turn nasty, I think. Nuno Espirito Santo, again, 3,136 voted in this. 44% of you said yes, 56% said no. I wasn't a fan of Nuno. I'm still not. He's not my go-to. But if you said him or Benitez, I'd go with him. Just because anybody but Benitez. Duncan Ferguson was the next one. 2,932 of you voted in this. 42% yes, 58% no. They're getting closer again. Duncan Ferguson, I know a lot of Everton fans, hold him dearly in their hearts. I've always said I'd like for him to go out and get his stripes first. But yeah, so he's clearly got a bit of backing. It's still in the no from the majority on Twitter, but only slightly. Next we have Roberto Martinez, 2,176 of you voted in this. 46% saying no. 54% saying no, 46% saying yes. So that again is closer and closer. I mean, I said it with Cal yesterday on the live. Roberto Martinez, if we don't get Benitez, is the next realistic one, because I feel like this is all media talk. The board have had no communication with fans. We don't know what they're doing, bar what the media's reporting. And I think he goes under the radar, but he's mentioned just enough that he's got fans on the board. And I feel like if we don't go Benitez, Favre goes Palace, Nuno goes or Graham Potter. Probably if Graham Potter goes, we'll probably get Nuno. But if Nuno goes, I don't think we'll get Potter. I think the ball will go for Martinez. And I can just see it happening because he's spoken about just enough, but not too much, if you understand what I mean. So, he's one of those ones where he comes out and they go, Oh yeah, no, it makes sense. But we do have some transfer news to end it all, though. We don't end on that managerial madness that it is. Turkish outlet Fanatic are reporting that Everton are eyeing up Fenerbahce's goalkeeper Atalay Bayindir. I'm going to pronounce that. The 23-year-old is currently attracting interest across Europe from Ajax and Seville, and is who are also keen on signing him this summer. Fenerbahce don't want to sell the player and have put a €20 million, so £17.1 million price tag on him. I mean, Olsen's going out. It looks like if we get him, we're probably not going to ask Olsen back. We do need a good backup keeper to compete with Pickford, and I think we've seen this season, if we've got someone to push him, he will perform better. So, I mean, I don't know, 17 million is a lot of money for someone who's going to sit there as a backup to Pickford, but and I personally would have liked, someone a little bit more experienced who's a little bit more cheaper, but we'll have to wait and see. We also have the news from L10 Sport, Le10 Sport, that Everton and Arsenal are interested in Brazilian Philippe Coutinho. The playmaker is set to leave Barcelona after the new president comes in, and Everton are one of the clubs that are looking to get him. Obviously, we'll know Philippe Coutinho, a lot of us from his days at Liverpool. He went to Barcelona. He struggled a bit with injuries there, and now he looks set to leave. I think Everton at the minute could probably do with steering away from former Liverpool stuff just at the minute. It's a bit sensitive. Coutinho, I don't know. I mean, he's similar to James. He's getting on a bit. He's skillful. I don't know if he's the same player we saw in the Premier League though. And the Liverpool ties do also have an effect. So we'll have to wait and see. It depends how much as well. It doesn't say here how much they're willing to let him go for. I wouldn't be spending massive on him. He's got a knee injury that's quite reoccurring. I wouldn't spend big money on him personally. And we also have the news that from Calcio Mercato that Everton are still interested in Chris Smalling, and it's always alive and it will be ongoing. So this will probably be another saga this window along with Dumfries. There's also reports that Roma are not against selling him, but only if the price is right. And I think Everton will probably pay that price, to be completely honest with you. But I don't think he's a player we need. I don't think we need a centre-back. I think we need right back and a right winger and a midfielder if we get that Nunes, although that's quite down a bit. And maybe a second striker. We're after Rafael Leao. But I think centre-back we're quite sound with. We've got Keane, we've got Mina, we've got Godfrey. And we've got Holgate that can play there as well, so I think centre-back we're alright with, to be honest. But that is all the news I've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share it with all your friends, your family and every blue you know. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. Are you a fan of Benitez? Is this worrying you? I mean, just tell us about the managerial stuff. It's plenty to talk about, isn't it? There's a lot there. Would you have Coutinho at Everton? Chris Smalling, would you have him at Everton? Would you have the Turkish lad at Everton? Let me know down below as always, and don't forget you can follow me and the Toffee Blues on Twitter. Go and follow the Toffee Blues, vote on the polls, get involved. I always read them out. Pretty much every video there's a poll to read out, which is good fun. It's nice to see, get a feel for the fan base. But yeah, most importantly guys, stay safe.